Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Founders Track Founders Log. Today we're going to be talking about my experience this past summer as an intern in the DRL and how it went, as well as giving a brief overview of what the program is and what comes next. So here we go. All right, so what is the Founders Track? Essentially, it's an in-depth program being run by KFUPM and the DDV that takes students from zero to hero when it comes to creating startups. It operates in 3 phases. Phase 1 is global engagement, where students go abroad and work at startups within their respective fields to gain some technical experience. Phase 2 is an entrepreneurship course given by Stanford that is hybrid. So part of it is online and part of it is in person. And phase 3 is the startup phase, where each of the 17 or so founders creates their own startup. I think that's as good of an explanation as I'm going to be able to give. This is take maybe 25 at this point. So yeah, I think that's what the Founders Track is. It's for KFUPM students exclusively, and it's sponsored by KFUPM and the DTV. All right, so what am I doing here at Tehran when I just said the first stage of the program is going abroad? Well, there's a little caveat to that. It's supposed to be your official either summer training or co-op internship. And I'm currently only a sophomore, which means I'm ineligible for both. So it was decided that I would stay in the DTV and work at the Dream Realization Labs over the summer, which is a product development firm that is run by the DTV. And quite frankly, it's been a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot, alhamdulillah. And I think I'm just going to take you through some of the cool things within the DRL and the projects I've worked on. And I think that'll be the end of the first video. And then Founders Log 2 will be in America. And we'll kind of vlog a little bit and talk about the Stanford course that we've been taking. So yeah, let's go show you the DRL. So this is the additive manufacturing lab, where we essentially have a bunch of 3D printers and where we do our additive manufacturing, so to speak. So our main workhorses are these H2Ds, the 4 of them. As you can see, they're all currently running. My current contribution is this. So this is supposed to be a map of the DTV. I'll put an image in a video that shows what the map is supposed to look like in the end. But this was the first thing I worked on when I showed up to the DTV.
It's not going too well. كان اليوم كله على ملف.
How is it not?
المهم I don't really know what I'm doing يعني. I have an idea. الملف, it was an STL file, we imported it. The mesh was terrible. We're just kind of fixing it as we go. Yeah, بس أنا جاء المهندس فاضل قال لا أنت بتسوي غلط. He was like, you could do it so many other ways. And I was like, how? I tried the other ways.
Clearly not right.
Exactly. That's why it's not going well.
So like we said, that was the first project I worked on. It actually took me a whole week. So I was given an STL file of the DTV. It'll be here somewhere on the screen, inshallah. I was given an STL file, and I had to make it ready for printing. Now, the H2D has a special feature. It's not really that special, but if you notice, it has 2 different nozzles for multicolor printing, which is what we were doing, or what I was trying to do with that map. So the map is actually printed in 3 different colors: white, gray, and black. And in order to get the slicing software, Bamboo Slicer, to work with the different colors, they have to be separate bodies, essentially. We got to make them separate bodies. So I had to go in and kind of manually... Oh, my print is done. That's my second print. We'll get to that in a second. But I manually kind of redid the map or made some changes to the map. So I'm going all over the place here. It's my last day. Technically, الدوام خلص. So I'm kind of in a rush. So I'm going to try and slow down and take things slowly. So I finished that first project with the DTV map. And then we moved on to project number 2. Now, like I said, I don't remember exactly what project number 2 was, but I ended up working within the additive manufacturing lab for the majority. Ooh, I remember what it was. Let's go to it. Okay, so project number 2 was for Mazen, the other intern. He's not here today, but maybe you'll see some videos of him later on within these logs. Essentially, Mazen's project was to create a PCB detection tool that utilized an industrial camera to recognize whether the PCBs were defective or not. Now, in order to do that, we kind of repurposed an old CNC machine that belonged to the DTV and was no longer in use. And here it is. My contribution to this is varied, to be fair. So this project, when we initially started, we had the CNC machine, but we didn't have a way to control it. So the first step was to get the CNC machine moving and working. And that was kind of a task in and of itself. It came with this CNC control board. You can't see right now because I don't have it, but there's supposed to be an Arduino Nano attached to this, and I forget what they're called. I'll try and put a photo of them, I'll put a photo of them, but they're these very crappy little stepper motor controllers. So we have 3 axes, X, Y, and Z, and none of them were working. We reflashed this firmware of the Nano. We used G-Sender, which is a G-code software. We couldn't get anything to work. And so then it was just we were kind of lost. So this is actually not my project, it's Mazen's. So Mazen was doing most of the groundwork on this one. And he requested of me to make this. It's a camera mount, essentially. So this is the camera. It connects to a NI-PXIe thingy-mabob. I'm not an electrical guy or a computer guy, but essentially the feed goes to there, and the feed from the camera travels all the way there, and then from there it goes to the computer, which is there. Nice. Anyways, we needed a way to hold the camera so that when we did get the CNC to work, we could kind of control it. So I made this mount. I made a series. Hold on. I made a series of them. So we have this one, this one, this one. They were all tests, and they were all based off the original mount that we found here that was broken. هذه قاعدة حقت الCNC machine القديم. فيها linear bearings. تخش من هنا. بعدين فيها هذا for the threaded screw. كذا يركب. حلو. I'm trying to adapt this, make a custom one. This is 3D printed. بعدين نركب الكاميرا كذا. Broken. I don't know when this machine was made. I suspect sometime around 2015. I guess this was a DIY type of kit. The 3D prints are very old. They're snapped and cracked. And essentially I was kind of just reverse engineering one of the mounts that would hold these cameras. We went through some trial and error, but eventually, alhamdulillah, I got it to work. And that was fine and all until about last week. Mazen was like, hey, the camera isn't focusing. It's too low and too close to the surface. So as you can see, the camera was sitting right about here. It was somewhere in there. Yeah. So it was a little bit too close to the surface and it couldn't focus. So Mazen told me, hey, we need to create a new camera mount. وسحبت عليه. I was busy doing other projects at the time. But alhamdulillah, today I kind of got around to making him an extension for the old mount using SolidWorks. It's some janky stuff. It's not like amazing or anything, but it works. But yeah, that was my second project, I think. Yeah, and then Mazen spent the rest of the summer trying to get the CNC control board to work and his AI models to be able to detect. It's a long story. He struggled a lot, not because of lack of skill. I think there was a lot of miscommunication between Mazen. Why am I talking about Mazen? المهم, let's go to my third projects or my other projects. This is also the PCB lab that we have. We have CNC milling for PCBs, an oven, I think, whatever this is, I'm not a PCB guy. And then we have the laser, the new U4. It's like the CNC for the PCBs, but it uses a laser instead. And so it's very useful to get really good detail. Yeah, you get the idea. Here's some PCB models. طبعا Jay, if I have a photo of him, I'll put it up here, is our PCB technician / engineer. He's a really smart guy, mashallah. Open. افتح سمسم. Ooh, let's show what this is. So here we have the shipment of the new machinery that we're getting. It's a bunch of Formlabs, Formlab 4Ls with their curing stations, and then the big boxes, and this big box are, or it is one, what's it called? Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad. What is it called? It's called a polyjet. So the polyjet is like this 3D printer, but it has the ability to print in a much larger variety of colors. And yeah, the polyjet is supposed to go in the additive manufacturing lab. And that brings us to project number 3, which is the additive manufacturing lab layout. So I kind of had to hop into SolidWorks and model the additive manufacturing lab because we're undergoing a renovation right now. It's not very obvious, but there's a renovation that's going to happen very soon, and we need to model the lab. So I began modeling the lab, and we went through a variety of iterations. I modeled the lab, and then I modeled the racks, and I figured the printer racks for the FDM and SLA machines. And then I me and Claude had a very fruitful conversation, and we made a tool to kind of calculate how many printers we can have on one rack. But yeah, that was kind of my third main project. So I took manual measurements of the additive manufacturing lab behind me, made them in CAD, and then kind of modeled the additive manufacturing lab. It was a very useful experience in the regards that it kind of gave me an insight into operations. So how do we operate? How do we go back and forth as a team? So on and so forth. Yeah, it's not it's not rocket science, right? I'm just making the layout of the lab. There's nothing difficult, like a high schooler could do it, but it is useful stuff to know. Making the tool that kind of shows you how we can optimize the printer racks for the maximum number of printers, because we want to expand our printing capacity, was also very useful. Also, I want to show you this cool little thing. Okay, so this is cool and saddening because I have a love-hate relationship with this machine right here. This is the Fortis 900 MC. It's an industrial FDM machine, right? If you go on my channel, you're gonna see the very first video that I ever posted is about me and the formula student and going to meet with Dr. Ayman and having a conversation about formula student, right? I need to make a whole separate video on what happened with that project. Long story short, I ended up switching to the Shell Eco Marathon team, and I became the head of that team. And as part of the Shell Eco Marathon project, we were trying to use this machine in order to print the shell, the exterior shell of the vehicle. So this machine has a humongous build volume. Let me show you. Like, I could fit in there. It's absolutely massive. This is all a build volume. This is the build plate. It's ridiculously big. It's also ridiculously expensive. And it was inoperational for a number of years, including the time when I was trying to use the machine to create the exterior shell of the vehicle. There's a long story. I need to make separate videos on that, so I don't go too much into detail. But supposedly the machine is now operational, but we have yet to test it because the air compressors within the DTV are currently not functional. Some more on functional machines. All of these printers that you see in front of you, these Delta machines, old Delta machines, are from about 2015 to 2018, right? Very beautiful machines. Back in the day, they were really good. What's also really interesting is the Ultimaker 3s that we have and the Ultimaker 2 Plus. Back in the day, this was also like top of the line stuff, but now we have P2Ss, which just are so much more beautiful and so much more nice to work with. We also have the Ultimaker S5 and the S6. There's also a Prusa Mark III, which this is me geeking out a little bit, but back in the day, I was very much into the 3D printing scene, and the Prusa Mark III was top of the line for hobby grade machines. And kind of seeing it here brought a little joy to me. I turned it on just to see if it worked and tried to like heat up some filament. The machine works, it's in perfect condition, and we'll probably use it for the makerspace that is coming soon to the DRL, inshallah. Oh, we also have this bad boy. Another industrial machine. It's the Stratasys F270. So this is it's essentially the F900, but smaller. Yeah, it's just smaller. Again, it's industrial, so it's a thorn in your side, if you want to speak eloquently, to work with. But yeah, this is another one of the machines. And then the last of the machines that don't work is the Mark Forge 2s that we have. So these are currently in operational as well. We're trying to get replacement heads for them. They just need a replacement head. Procurement's taking a while to get it though. This is the FL Sun Delta machine. Again, older style machine. Nowadays, we've kind of switched to Core XY machines, like the H2Ds that you can see right here. The Delta machines, back in the day, were much faster than the standard XYZ machines. I forget what they're called. I'll probably put the name up. They were much faster than those older machines. But nowadays, this industry's kind of switched to Core XY, and yeah, that's where we're at now. So we have a bunch of these older machines that are from when the DRL was called like PACA or Packer, something like that, and it belonged to the KFUPM. The DRL has kind of been repurposed now. It belongs to the DRL. It's got new ownership. It's got new leadership, which is amazing, by the way. And we've kind of been upgrading, but there's still kind of what's the term I'm looking for here? You're kind of stuck in between the old and the new. So a lot of these times, like we have these machines that we've seen here. Part of what I was doing with all these Delta machines is seeing if they're worth kind of reviving. So as the intern, you got to do all the dirty work. So I took these out of storage. I'll show you the storage in a second. Took them out of storage, kind of began testing them to see if they're a viable machine for the makerspace. Because they are expensive machines, to be fair. Yes, they're old, but they're expensive. And it kind of breaks your heart to throw something expensive away, even if it is old. We also have some cool, some random stuff. We have these, it's for like tracing. I don't know, not my thing. We also have these granite tables that were, again, a pain in my side when I was redesigning the additive manufacturing lab, because these tables are not just any table. You can't put anything on those tables. Those are for metrology. So hold on. Let's see, can I do this? There we go, we got it. So these tables are for metrology. Essentially, they're just to see if something is flat. And you can't put anything on them because you'll ruin the calibration of the tables. So they take up all this space, and we can't really use them. And it was kind of a pain in my side when I was redesigning the additive manufacturing lab. But yeah, what can you do? Another thing I did, this is kind of in line with the additive manufacturing lab layout, is you can see here that there's a piece of wood. I don't want to say it's plywood, but there's a piece of wood that these printers are sitting on. Whereas with the H2Ds, you can see that it's this very thin sheet metal that comes standard with these orange racks. The reason that we try to test the wood is because the sheet metal vibrates a lot, and when we're running multiple machines, can we get it? When we're running multiple machines, it could cause layer shifts and ringing and that type of stuff. So I kind of went to the innovation hub within KFUPM. I cut that piece of wood out. It was a fun experience, and we tested it here. I didn't really test it. I just did it, and we never took a control and then printed something. We just kind of did it and never fully tested it, which is unfortunate. Didn't have enough time. Some other things I've done within this lab as well is working with old filament. Here we can see that we have a bunch of filament. Now, one of the issues with this filament is that a lot of it is very old. Like we said, the DRL went through old leadership, and then it went through a change of ownership. And the old owners of the DRL had bought 80 or 100 kilos of old filament. And so the problem with PLA filament specifically is that it becomes brittle, and it kind of gets ruined with exposure to humidity. ونحن في الشرقية, a very humid place, and all the old filament kind of went bad. So it was constantly clogging the printers that we were trying to use. And so I was constantly going back and forth to the 3D printers and kind of cleaning them and being oh, hey, there's something wrong here. Let me fix it because I'm the intern. So it was just back and forth to the 3D printers, seeing what's wrong, clearing out the old clogged filament. We were getting clogged heads, clogged extruders. PTF E-tubes were stuck because they were clogged with broken strands of filament. It was kind of miserable. So at some point in time, I decided to run a little test with the AMSs on the H2Ds that you saw earlier. So the AMSs can actually dry filament. So we dried some of the older filament that was causing us issues. And it kind of worked. The brittleness of the filament changed a lot. So let me show you. So this is the old Matter Hackers filament. This is blue, and you can see if I bend it, it just snaps. It just snaps. It should not be snapping like that. Look, look, look. That was not safe. That should not be happening. And it just kept on happening with all of our filament, and it was miserable to work with. So I kind of wrote a report where I dried the filament, did some testing on it, and concluded that we need to do more testing that I never did. I think I didn't do it because I didn't have time, to be fair. It's not because for lack of trying, but it's kind of frustrating. I'd be much more satisfied. I'd be much more satisfied with my work if I had just been able to, kind of finish the testing on the filament, for instance, and conclude that, hey, we need to either dry. This is what happens when you work in the basement. There's always someone banging something around. They're always opening the doors. It's annoying. Can we get a private place? Everyone else has someplace that's private. You don't see ventures struggling with this. I'm with him. Yeah. Filament cap. I just couldn't do the further testing I needed to do on the filament in order to decide whether we could salvage the 80 kilograms and use it during our prints or not. I only got halfway there. So I concluded that, drying the filament does improve the brittleness a lot, but I wasn't able to conclude, by what extent or to what quantity and whether or not it was a viable solution to the brittleness problem that we were having. I'll show a photo of the report. It's classified as external, so that should be fine. Yeah, what else did I work on? The people I've been working with are great. يعني حقيقة شكر خاص لكل الفريق. عبد الرحمن شرقاوي، رضا الهاشم، فاضل، دكتور حسن, دكتور عبد العزيز, everyone, Michael, Jay, it's a really nice environment to work in. I enjoyed it a lot. I think the connections I've made here are very useful. Like, it's very much like, I don't know. As a student, you kind of feel like corporate life is supposed to be really boring, and it doesn't feel like that here. It doesn't feel like things are very boring and disgusting. It's like, okay, I show up to work, I'm excited. I know I'm gonna do some work. It's gonna be fun, right? Things are gonna go wrong, but it'll be fine in the end. Um, and then you kind of develop these relationships. The guys are kind of young. Oh, Saad, I forgot to mention Saad. The guys are young. They're not. Some of them are fresh graduates. Abdurrahman and Rida are kind of like fresh graduates. Saad as well. But the rest of the guys, like, it doesn't feel like you're just the intern. You kind of feel like you're part of the team. Dr. Abdulaziz does this a lot, especially within the meetings. We had a meeting here maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about an event that we want to run essentially. And as the intern, I'm kind of managed to present an idea, have it accepted, and then اعتمدت الفكرة يعني. Which I think is kind of cool. The director of the department is like, okay, hey, here you go, here's your chance. You can talk, you can kind of make your case, and you can kind of fight back on whether or not. I'm trying to film a video here. Like I was saying, you can it's really nice. It was a nice experience because, throughout this, you can within these meetings, you can kind of make your case. You can voice your opinion. Yes, you're the intern. Yes, you don't know anything, but you're still kind of given a voice that is respected, and that was a very nice experience. This goes for all the meetings. It wasn't just this one brainstorming session. It was the operations meetings, the Kanbans that we do every morning, like the design meetings. Your voice is heard, and it's respected, and I think that was a very nice experience. Thank you to everyone on the team. Really thank you. Also, a special thank you to the other interns for not making me feel like I'm lonely as the only intern. Mazen, Sara, Shayma. It was a nice experience. What am I missing? I've got to be missing something. I'm sure I'm missing. There's a bunch of little things that happen. Like there's a forklift inside that doesn't work that we kind of tried to fix. Oh, I made keychains. I made a bunch of keychains. I don't know if I have any. Let's see. HR within the DTV asked me to make some keychains, and I had to make 70 of them. So it was my first time kind of mass manufacturing any type of 3D print. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the keychains here. That's really sad. I'll put a photo of them up. But yeah, I had a bunch of keychains. Yeah, this is the design room, by the way. I didn't show this earlier. I've done a really bad job with this video. Like, it's really bad job. But it's kind of just, this is what I want the Founders Log to be. It's just me kind of doing my thing, geeking out, nerding out about all the things I find cool and interesting. And maybe you do too. But yeah, here we also have what I think is pretty darn cool. I've never seen. We also have a bunch of random equipment, by the way, like a micrometer, gauge blocks, gauge tools, some really random equipment sometimes, and it's like, whoa, what is this here for? But this, my friends, is very cool. It is a giant caliper, like the one I'm holding in my hand. So this one is just bigger. And you know what they say, bigger is always better. Why would you need something this large? This is what? 18 inches? I'm assuming this goes up to 2 feet. Hold on, let's see. What does it go up to? Can I turn it on? I don't know where the on button is. That's unfortunate. Azubad, this is a very large measuring gauge. Hold on, I need to get a picture. Oh yeah, this is the photo. سفين ونخلة. المشكلة إنه أنا اسمي سيف، فثلاثة سيوف ونخلة. Because I'm wearing green. But yeah, this is some cool stuff. Oh, another thing I learned. There is the DRL kind of operates with a sort of circular economy business model. So the way this works, the way all of this works, the DRL does product development, right? But they also do manufacturing. And who do we manufacture for? Who's our biggest client? Take a guess, take a guess. Who is the DRL's biggest client? It's their former owner, which is KFUPM. So KFUPM is the biggest client for the DRL. We do a lot of manufacturing, 3D printing, that sort of thing for researchers, students. Basically, anything that you have that's kind of related to research or a student project can be done here, and KFUPM pays for it as a student or researcher. And that's it's nice for students. It's not nice for KFUPM's bank account because we charge them, and that's where we make the majority of our money. Of course, we do get external projects, but our main client, from what I've understood during my time here, is KFUPM. Now, you can see here we have the MSL, which is Measurement Standards Laboratories by KFUPM. And we have Lahran Techno Valley. So what is this place? Well, going back to that circular economy, it's essentially, I don't want to say it's money laundering, because it's not. It's technically business. But it does feel like you're operating with monopoly money a lot of the times. Like, how does any of this work? We, as the DTV, have space that was previously owned by KFUPM and has been given to the DTV, right? Hello. What we do as the DTV is we kind of give them this little storage area to bring measurement instrument, metrology equipment that needs to be serviced. People bring their metrology equipment, place it here, and then KFUPM comes, picks it up, takes it to their MSL laboratory, where they fix it and service it, and then we get paid to do this service, where we kind of just give them the space that they already once owned. Make it make sense, man. I don't know. Like I said, this is just me ranting and waffling about what I find interesting and unique. And this is just one of those things, you kind of learn how these semi-governmental agencies operate sometimes. It's interesting, to say the least. Here, the box that yours currently sitting on is actually a pick-and-place machine, which is for PCB manufacturing. I really want to see this running one day. I think it's going to be very useful, especially for people that want to do kind of mass manufacturing of some things. I think that will be very cool. But yeah, I almost forgot. The final project I do before I leave is here. Ooh, clean break. Okay, it is a open BCI mount that is supposed to be used with a hat. Let's go to that project right now. Oh, that was relatively quick. The surface finish is terrible. Alright, we remove the support material. We've gone through dozens of designs. This is, okay. Here we go. I've gone through a bunch of iterations. This is the mount that is open source for the PCB itself. So when you buy it, there's already kind of this STL file here. I went ahead and made my own for this OpenBCI. Kind of clicks in place. Now let's see if it works on the new one as well. This is supposed to be a compliant mechanism. So these little fins kind of give in, and these holes line up with these holes, these kind of pegs line up with these holes, and you just kind of slip it into place. Let's see, bismillah. Perfect. Should be perfect after the number of times we've designed it. And then, good bismillah, inshallah, this works. Take this hat, and you kind of slip this in here. Then, kind of have your open BCI on the back of your hat, and you can wear it. Ooh! I'm gonna do a 360. You can see the open BCI on here. Nice fit. Probably not simple. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's my final project. Also, I've designed it so that you can kind of put a battery, a small LiPo battery like this one inside. I think this one is too big. Yeah, this one is too big. But I've designed it so you can kind of have a small LiPo battery. But you kind of get it. There's a battery inside in the back here. This battery is too big. I designed it for a smaller, I think 500 milliamp hour. This is 1500 milliamp hours, so it's too big of a battery. But you get the idea. The battery kind of fits in there. You bring this in, kind of click it into place. There we go. Then it kind of clicks into place like so. The fins give way, so they've kind of bent a little in order to allow it here. So they're pushing back, they're acting like springs, they're pushing back on this and not letting it fall out. You can see it's not going anywhere. And there's supposed to be a battery inside that you can just kind of stick in. But yeah, that is the final project. And with that, my time at the DTV comes to an end. All right, so yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing all summer. It's not the most eventful thing. It's not the most engineering thing, but it was fun. It was very beneficial. I learned a lot, alhamdulillah. Big thank you to all of the team, once again. Yeah, maybe as we go on during this program, my camera, my videography skills and vlogging skills improve. But I think this is kind of the format I want to have. I want to have just me talking and, talking about what's cool, what we've done. I kind of want to record everything and everything. Like when I say everything, I want to record everything, kind of have it as a record for maybe myself or maybe some people in the future who kind of want to see kind of what it takes to, kind of create a startup. Inshallah, we, as the founders, the inaugural founders track, founders kind of make it and succeed. I wish everyone the best. Allah yafiqna ajma'een. But yeah, I think that's going to be the end of video number 1. Yeah, I think that's the end of video number 1. Thank you for watching, and inshallah soon we'll have video number 2 up, which is going to be maybe part 1 of our time in California, San Francisco, California, at Stanford. So yeah, see you then, inshallah. Now, because look at my fit. Look at my fit. I even got the bag matching. I was cooking. زبد مازن أخيرا عرف إنه يقدر ينزل معدة ومرة مبسوط على السيركتس 2 كورس حقه. تعرف الدوافير. مرة مبسوط. الدوافير هذول الله يصلحهم. Peep the flex. Peep, what does that say? That says first. That's your boss right there.
That's our boss.
Yeah, that is true. But that's your boss. And then this is my old boss. This is my older boss at the other company. But that's my flex. See, this is why I'm better than all the other interns.
I wish they heard you.
تقييمك لليوم الأول.
والله. Can I? No comments.
عادي ترى, you can say whatever you want. ترى, we don't have to post this.
Oh really? So you can keep this like as a little secret thing.
أيوة.
يا أخي ما عطوني أشغال. أحس إني قاعد طول اليوم ما أسوي شيء.
So how do you like the place?
طب كيف تقيموا الانترنز حقونكم؟
والله الانترنز هنا صراحة مرة كول، وإن شاء الله نشوف الستارت ابس حقتهم في يوم من الأيام.
إن شاء الله.
ويونيكورن كومباني، ها؟ مؤقتا كذا. أنتوا your rivals or together في الستارت اب؟
ما نعرف.
No, we're rivals.
Rivals.
I'm saying rivals so it feels more like exciting. Honestly.
But one of you might lose the startup so he can join the other one. So you have
Exactly.
في واحد مننا ممكن استغفر الله خلاص.
تذكر عن نفسك؟
لا خلاص.
هذه كمبيوتر ساينس كوليدج لاب، يجون عندنا يجيبون مكاين، ناخذ المكاين نحطهم في الريسيبت، نوفر شهرين عليهم، بعدين once it's fixed مثلا كاليبر ولا ايش ما تكون يجون يستلمونهم من هنا.
فهذا نتيجة. This is the result of 4 years of college education.
Yes.
And the CEO, being the CEO of a 3D printing company. نتيجتها آخرتها
I'm designing science
completed.
now I can call myself engineer at last الحمد لله. الامور زي اللوز.
اوه بعد الناس يجوا يداومون كم ساعة متأخر. الدوام يبدأ الساعة 7:30. الرجال جاي بعد اللانش بريك.
الساعة 8 وباتفاق بيننا احنا.
المهم جاء متى جيت؟
جيت الساعة 10.
That's a lie.
جيت الساعة 10.
No you didn't.
I did.
I did not see you.
You weren't here at 10.
I was.
Listen, stop judging me. Nobody would literally said anything.
المهم يعني الرجال راحت على نومه. يقال انه راحت على
والله راحت علي نومه. لا تكذبني عنها راحت علي نومه أكثر شيء منطقي الصدق يعني. You know, oh my god, don't record this. How much programming do you know? What you're describing to me is like you're creating a circle class, right? We have a circle class that's already existing. So then you make a new instance of the circle class, and then you want to make a new circle, but instead of just using the circle class, you use an already existing circle and you make a copy of it and then you modify it. Why? Why not just use the circle class?
It's CAD, not programming.
Yeah, but no, that's like the same principle though. Listen, my point makes complete sense, you're just not making sense. What's an offset? You're not really explaining it.
I showed you. Look.
It's a circle,
This
but then
is-
we make it bigger.
It's not just
so
a
it's just
circle,
a
it's
different
any
circle.
shape. Yeah, but it's referenced to this.
Is it like just like a way of saying like error amounts, like plus or minus?
This is the circle. The yellow thing is the offset.
Yeah.
I-
If you scratch, do you want to do that? Are you doing that?
No, I'm not doing that.
Sure.
But like, if I did, right, it's just the operational cost. Plus, we could just say the camera's always been like that.
That costs like $5,000.
But we could just say the camera's always been like that. No one would know.
So it's now connected to the x-axis, right?
Okay.
It locks. Let's see. What about the y one? It locks.
So the X and Y are locking, but
Z also locks.
so is it this like driver bad? Well,
These two will lock no matter what button you choose of these. This one will not, no matter which one of these you choose. Orientation
What the
also
heck?
seems to play a role. I have been flipping it back and forth. I have no idea what correct orientation is technically, because it moves either way. It makes some noises either way. It locks either way.
I took on the negative at the same time when I was.
so you just burnt one of the controllers.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, أنت مو أنا. It's true. No,
235.
Don't say that. I came at 2. I came at 2.
You didn't come at 2. You came at like 210, 215. الدوام يبدأ 7:30. Okay.